Welcome to the Tuesday, May 19th, 2020 Papillion City Council meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. Ms. Brown, would you please take the roll?
Sunday. Sunday.
Here.
Umgard.
Yes.
Gaines.
Yes.
Glover.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Here.
Luke. Here. Stubbe.
Here.
Ingberg.
Here.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. And do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
We do.
And a current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the council chambers and online at www.papillion.org. Just for anybody that has not been in a virtual city council meeting with Papillion, just a couple of rules. If you see a white background with a city logo, that tends to be a city staff person, and you should be able to see their title and their name so you can see who's talking. For the most part, blue backgrounds, not all of them, but if you see a blue background with a city logo, that is a city council person. And if they don't have a virtual background, you'll still see council member listed in the name. So again, you can see who's talking. If we have items for public input, we will call on those at the specific time. So until then, I believe most people are muted, and we control some of that here. We will unmute during opponents and proponents in public hearings. We ask you to be patient as so people don't talk over each other. Speaking on an item, you would have been given instructions to send your documents in ahead of time if you wanted those shared. We do not have screen sharing turned on because of some hacking that has occurred in public meetings during the COVID process, and we're not going to put up with that. So we do have screen sharing turned off, and we will not turn it on. So again, if you've got items, those should have been sent in by noon today. With that, we do have a proclamation that I want to give, and this is in regards to Public Works Week. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are all of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities, and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Papillion. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the city of Papillion to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2020 marks the 60th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now, therefore, I, Mayor David P. Black, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Papillion, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th to 23rd, 2020 as National Public Works Week in the city of Papillion, and I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. So thank you very much. Do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
We do.
And I mentioned the Open Meetings Act. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Second by Jaworski. If you're a council member, you can unmute unless we get some. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
Sunday.
Aye.
Umgard.
Yes.
Gaines.
Yes.
Glover.
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
Yes.
Stube,
Yes.
Ingberg,
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item D1, ordinance 1875. An ordinance to approve the issuance of water revenue refunding bonds, Series 2020, with principal not to exceed $8 million. Is there a council member that will introduce?
Councilman Gaines, I'll introduce.
Introduced by Councilman Gaines. And as is typical with all of our bond issues, staff is requesting a waiver of the second and third ordinance readings, and that does require a supermajority. So is there a motion to waive the second and third readings of ordinance 1875?
Motion by Jaworski.
Motion by Jaworski, second by Ingberg. Do we have any proponents? Any opponents? Any council discussion?
I
Please
would just
vote on the
ask,
motion. Go ahead, Mr. Sunday.
is there an emergency that we need to waive the normal procedure? I guess I ask this every time, but
Yeah, good question. No emergency. The typical practice on bonds has been to waive it so we can get to market and remove any interest rate risk. If we don't waive, it'll be about a month before we would be able to go to the bond market and sell them. So it's just interest. It's controlling interest rate risk.
I'm just going to make the same point I made the last time I spoke on this. You're at risk if you wait, and you're at risk if you go right away. Nobody knows which direction the bond market's heading. If you did know, we'd all be rich. So that's all I have to say. I don't think that is enough reason to waive the procedure.
Thank you. Any other council discussion? If not, please vote on the motion to waive.
Sunday,
No.
Mumgarde,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
Yes.
Stube,
Yes.
Ingberg,
Yes.
7 yeas, 1 nay by Sunday.
Motion passes. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 1875?
Klug will motion.
Motion by Councilman
Ingberg,
Klug,
second.
second by
Ingberg.
Councilman Ingberg. Any council discussion? Please vote.
Sunday,
Aye.
Mumgarde,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
Yes.
Stube,
Yes.
Ingberg,
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item D2, ordinance 1879, an ordinance to approve a change of zone from RE Rural Residential Estates to LI PUD2 Limited Industrial Specific Planned Unit Development for Lot 1 and LI Limited Industrial for Lot 2 for the property legally described as a tract of land located in the southwest quarter of Section 25, Township 14 North, Range 11 East of the 6 p.m. Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located on the northeast corner of Highway 370 and Highway 50. The applicant is Ryan Companies US Inc. Is there a council member that will introduce?
Councilmember Stube will introduce.
Introduced by Councilman Stube. Item D3, ordinance 1884, an ordinance to rename Jana Street as dedicated by the South Ridge Valley final plat to be Matthies Drive. Is there a council member that will introduce?
Klug will introduce.
Introduced by Councilman Klug. Item E1, ordinance 1881, an ordinance to annex certain real estate to the city of Papillion, Nebraska, and to provide for an effective date. This is a public hearing. I'll open it. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Close the public hearing. Item E2, ordinance 1882, an ordinance to change the official zoning map of the city of Papillion in accordance with section 20532 of the Papillion Municipal Code to adopt a zoning map and to apply existing or future zoning regulations, property use regulations, building ordinances, electrical ordinances, plumbing ordinances, and all other regulatory ordinances of the city of Papillion pursuant to Nebraska Revised Statute 16901. Applicant, City of Papillion. It's a public hearing. I'll open it. Do we have any proponents? Any opponents? Close the public hearing. Item E3, ordinance 1883, an ordinance to amend Papillion Municipal Code Section 18.2 regarding contracts between the City of Papillion and nonprofit organizations. Also a public hearing. Do we have any proponents? Any opponents? Close the public hearing. F1, ordinance 1878, an ordinance to amend Article 23 PUD Planned Unit Development Overlay District of Chapter 205 of the Papillion zoning ordinance. The applicant is the City of Papillion. PUD Planned Unit Development Overlay District Regulations Ordinance Amendment. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 1878?
Motion by Jaworski.
Motion by Jaworski
Second by Klug.
and second by Councilwoman Klug. Any council discussion? Please vote.
Sunday,
Aye.
Mumgarde,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
Yes.
Stube,
Yes.
Engberg,
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Item F2, Resolution R200076, a resolution to approve a preliminary plat for the property legally described as attractive land located in part of the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter and part of the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter located in Section 1, Township 13 North, Range 12 East of the 6th PM, Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located southeast of 72nd Street and Schramm Road. The applicant is Papio Park LLC, 72 Place. This was tabled from the May 5th City Council meeting. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R200076?
Motion by Gaines.
Motion by Councilman Gaines,
Second by Engberg.
second by Councilman Ingberg. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents?
Mayor,
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, we couldn't get our unmute button on.
Go ahead then.
All right, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Larry Jobin, 11440 West Center Road, appearing on behalf of the applicant with me today in the chambers of the conference room of E&A Consulting is Jason Thielen of E&A Consulting. We also have Adam Flanagan of Keel Capital Corporation, our municipal advisor for this particular project, and also Gene Graves, the representative of the applicant. I first wanted to say we appreciate the city council hitting the pause button on this and allowing us to clean up a couple items that were in the resolution, as well as the staff report. The good news is I think we've resolved all of those issues with respect to the resolution and with respect to the staff recommendation report. And I just want to say the main reason why we wanted to table this matter is there was a county roadway policy that was a little unclear and mainly regarded the 8th mile access at 71st Street off of Schramm into our commercial area. And what we found out in the last 2 weeks is that as far as that full movement intersection at the 8th mile, the county will, their policy is to only have full movement intersections at the 1/4 mile and the 1/2 mile. But as far as a full movement intersection at the 8th mile, if it's inside the city's jurisdiction or inside their ETJ, the county will acknowledge the decision of the city council of the city of Papillion, for example, in this case. And they recognize that that's in the discretion of the city of Papillion. So we've requested a full movement intersection into the commercial area because we think it creates a lot of value for this commercial area on a road that really east of 72nd Street won't have that much traffic on it that we believe. And so if the city approves the full movement intersection at the 8th mile, the county will completely accept that. They understand that that's in the city's discretion to approve the full movement of the 8th mile. Then the question at that point is whether the county would agree to participate in the cost of the roadway. And the county, I guess at that point, could choose to either participate in the cost of the construction of the roadway or not participate because we weren't consistent or in compliance with their roadway policies. In this particular case, our SID is paying 100% of Schramm Road east of 72nd Street to 70th Street. So that isn't even an issue. So the question then became, and I think that was in the last staff report, is who will maintain the roadway. And the county has recently confirmed that they will maintain the roadway. So that was the real puzzling part of trying to get the county's policy in line with what the recommendation report said to you. So now we know that the county will honor the city's decision as to the full movement 8th mile intersection. They may or may not participate in the cost of that roadway. In this case, we're not asking them to, we're paying 100% of it, but they will maintain it because it still is within their jurisdiction as a county roadway. So that was kind of the main reason why we wanted to make sure that we hit the pause button. We found out exactly what the county's policy is with respect to maintenance of the roadway, in particular Schramm Road east of 72nd Street. So with that, the future land use map identifies this property exactly how we're developing it. It's neighborhood mixed use, it's residential, limited commercial, limited office, medium density residential, low density residential, and greenway. What you have here is exactly that. It's a true mix of uses within this development. We have villa lots, there's multifamily lots, there's commercial lots, there's single family residential lots. So all in all, in the end, what you get on the valuation of full build out is a project worth about $93.5 million. So we think this is a great project for this particular area. Again, I appreciate you hitting the pause button, letting this work out the issues with the staff. I think we've done that, and I think we're ready to move forward with the final plat. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Jobin. Do we have any other proponents? Any opponents? Any council discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Sunday,
Aye.
Mumgarde,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
No.
Klug,
yes,
Yes.
Stubbe, Ingberg.
Yes.
7 yeas, 1 nay by Jaworski.
Motion passes. Item F3, Resolution R200083, a resolution to approve a memo of understanding between Sarpy County Human Services, City of Papillion, and Lift Up Sarpy for a water sewer assistance program. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R200083?
Klug will motion,
Motion by Councilman Klug,
Second by Councilmember Stubbe.
second by Councilman Stubbe. Do we have any proponents? Any opponents? Any council discussion?
Mayor.
Mr. Stubbe.
Yeah, I guess this is something that's somewhat new, and I think it would be important maybe to talk a little bit about this. Obviously, there might be some people out there that aren't aware of it, but I think this is important and maybe something for you to mention, Mayor.
Absolutely. The idea came up a little bit over a year ago. I think people might be used to some of the area utilities, OPPD, MUD, that have utility assistance programs. They have annual fundraisers for those programs. They're generally used in the middle of winter so people's heat don't get turned off. The City of Papillion does have a utility through the water system, and we've never had a utility assistance program. By law, by ordinance, if somebody is not paying a bill, we are required to be stewards of the system. So if somebody is not paying for service, at some point in time, that service does get shut off. In some cases, some of the shutoffs are just abusers of the system. And they just don't pay until the moment of the shutoff, and then they come and turn the service back on. But there are, and they're repeat offenders. But there are some where it's legitimate. They've hit a hardship of some kind, medical issues, financial issues, so a legitimate hardship, and they get to the point of shutoff. And historically, we have not had a lot of discretion on not shutting them off or shutting them off. So we started the discussion of how do we create an assistance program. So we still meet the intent of the law of being a steward of the system and collecting the money, but at the same time recognize a legitimate hardship and get that person some help. And we looked at a number of ways. We had some restrictions because we couldn't necessarily use government dollars and taxpayer dollars to pay somebody's water bill. And so we started a discussion about a year ago with Lift Up Sarpy, which is an umbrella organization within Sarpy County. It came out of CASA, and it grew, and now it's an umbrella organization over most of the social agencies in Sarpy County. And so if it's an organization that's allowing social agencies and caseworkers to talk openly about a specific case, because if there's a family having a problem in one area, that might be important. There might be some assistance available for that person in a different social agency. And so we reached out to see maybe could they have a pool of funds and manage an assistance program for us. A lot of conversation on logistically, again, how we can do it. What we ended up implementing and what this agreement does is we are partnering with Sarpy County Human Services and Lift Up Sarpy, which is a not-for-profit. We are not going to give them individuals' names, so we're not disclosing personal information. But we have altered our process, so when we start seeing a bill is late, and we get down to the point of a certain step in our process where we're notifying somebody that they're delinquent and they're headed to a shut-off, we will give that individual information about Lift Up Sarpy, the contact person they can reach, and information about this program. And then if they choose to reach out to Lift Up Sarpy will get a caseworker, interview that individual, learn about their program, and if that person's willing to work on it and get assistance, whether that's job search, budgeting issues, or anything else, Lift Up Sarpy can get them some assistance. And we're providing some seed money through the Community Betterment Program to help fund that. And we would help an individual, I think, up to 3 months worth of water if they're working with an active caseworker to solve their issue.
Mayor, I do have a comment and a question. So the comment would be is that I think it's a great program, and I'm glad that Papillion is considering entering into this. One question I would have with regard to the gas provider within the city of Papillion, if there's a possibility that Sarpy County Human Services could reach out to them also to see if they would get consideration to maybe participating in this program.
I will reach out to them and make that recommendation. Any other questions? Now, please vote.
Sunday,
Aye.
Mumgarde,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
yes,
Stube,
Yes.
Ingberg,
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Item F4, Resolution R200090. It's a public hearing and a vote. A resolution to approve a Class I liquor license for the Pit Lounge LLC, doing business as the Pit Lounge, 1449 Papillion Drive, Suite 105 and 107, Papillion, Nebraska 68133, and a manager application for Brian Boganowski. It is a public hearing. Any proponents? Is the applicant on, Mr. Boganowski?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. If you want to say something, we'll let you. Otherwise, I just want to recognize that you are on and available.
Okay. No, any questions from councilmen?
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like to just commend this particular individual for doing this when I think every other bar is pretty much still closed. So I got to give a little credit to him taking on this initiative and moving forward with this. So I would be definitely in support of this.
Thank you. Do we have any other proponents? Do we have any opponents? Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to approve resolution R200090?
Motion.
Burke.
Motion by Glover, second by Councilman Ingberg. Any other council discussion? Please vote.
Sunday,
Aye.
Mumgarde,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
yes,
Stube,
Yes.
Ingberg,
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Boganowski. Item F5, Resolution R200091, a resolution to approve a second amendment to the Pioneer View Subdivision Agreement. Do you have a motion to approve Resolution R200091?
Motion by Jaworski.
Motion by Jaworski,
second by Klug,
second by Councilwoman Klug. Do we have any proponents? Do we have any opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
Sunday,
Aye.
Mumgarden,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
yes,
Stube,
Yes.
Ingberg,
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Item F6, Resolution R200092. A resolution to approve the lease of 4 beverage carts for the Eagle Hills and Terror Hills golf courses and the financing agreement for the lease of such carts. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R200092?
Councilman Stube motions.
Councilman Stube, motion.
Second. Sunday.
Second by Councilman Sunday. Do we have any proponents? Any opponents? Council discussion. Please vote.
Sunday,
Yes.
Mumgarden,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
yes,
Stube,
Yes.
Ingberg,
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item F7. Resolution R200094, a resolution to approve the acquisition by condemnation, if necessary, of easements across certain private property for the Turkey Road to Summit Ridge Water Transmission Main Project. The landowner we're working with has requested that this item be tabled until June 2nd, and myself and city administrator do support that request. So I would ask if there is a motion to table till June 2nd.
Councilman
Motion
Gaines,
table.
motion to table.
second by
By
Klug,
Councilman Gaines, second by Councilman Klug. Any proponents? Any opponents? Any council discussion?
Mayor?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What's the purpose of tabling it? All this resolution does is authorize the staff to continue to negotiate and then take action if those negotiations don't become fruitful. So what do we gain by tabling it?
It's at the landowner's request, so I think the main thing would be, there's probably some goodwill. They made the request, and I don't think they wanted the threat of condemnation sitting there during that 2-week discussion. So probably more of a goodwill gesture than anything else.
And Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
this is Deputy City Administrator Phil Green. Again, the landowner is a farmer and he was busy in the field tonight. Felt like he would be able to participate though in the meeting coming up on June 2nd.
Any other count? Go ahead, Mr. Mumgarden.
Okay. You know, what I do is I sit there and I think, well, negotiations with this landowner hasn't been particularly fruitful and cooperative up to this point. You know, I can see doing goodwill, sure, that's good. We want to be good neighbors. So I'll vote for the tabling, but we ought to see some real cooperation and participation in the next 2 weeks, or else we've been taken advantage of.
And Mr. Green has had some very recent conversations, and I think that message is clear. Any
Mayor
other
Black,
council discussion?
Mayor Black, this is Christine Meyer, City Administrator. I had a conversation with Mr. Hanson as well today, as did Phil. And we do have a couple items to work out in the negotiations. There's an easement issue that needs to be resolved, as well as an acquisition price where there was some additional area within an easement. So because we had a couple additional things to work out, I didn't feel it harmed the process to go ahead and agree with his request to table for an additional 2 weeks, knowing that we will negotiate during that time period.
Okay, I would just ask that staff, at least from my benefit, from my perspective, make it clear to the landowner that no, we're not interested in any longer going back and forth and not getting anywhere. We either get somewhere or we move on to condemnation.
I think that's partially why we've got a date specific on the table requests and not open-ended. Any other
Mayor?
council discussion? Yes.
Yeah, so I'd like to maybe put a little bit of context to this from the standpoint that what we're working on here with this particular land owner is to provide essentially water west into the growing area west of the Papillion area. So I think it's important for people out there to recognize this is essentially to assist with the growth that is occurring out there. And the other thing is that from what I recall, based on our previous discussion, that this landowner already has provided an easement to OPPD, and all we're asking for is the ability to put our water line that's going to serve a great number of residents and businesses in the west part of the community within that existing easement. So we're not asking for anything above and beyond what is currently already provided by the landowner to another public entity.
That is correct. It is not an extension of the easement area. That's correct. Any other council discussion? Please vote.
Sunday,
Yes.
Mumgarde,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
yes,
Stube,
Yes.
Engberg,
Councilman Ingberg left the meeting.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, motion passes. It's all the regular agenda items. Committees, public safety met tonight. Is there a report out from that?
Yes, Mayor. Good evening. This is Councilman Gaines. On February 4th, the Public Safety Committee came before the council and basically we briefed the council on 8 ideas that we were working on in order to slow the traffic pattern down Washington Street, particularly in the downtown corridor. And tonight we were briefed on basically locations where we were going to put speed signs to notify drivers in transition areas between 45 and 35 and 35 and 25 mile per hour zones. The city initially on the report that they presented us gave us 4 areas that were recommended to put these speed signs. The Public Safety Committee, however, decided that it would be in their best interest to add a 5th sign. Those locations currently are proposed heading northbound, somewhere right around Halleck, right before the bridge, heading northbound, going into downtown, and then coming back, heading southbound, putting a sign to the north of 6th Street and a sign basically across from the Dairy Queen before the middle school. And so the city staff is working on getting those exact placements. We intend to try to place them on existing OPPD poles so that we can use their wiring. They don't have to be solar powered. And then we believe that we hit most of the areas where the transition speeds are to alert drivers that they're speeding. We've also put the signs in a pattern where we feel like they'll benefit the middle school because there is a sign before the middle school heading in both directions. Another item that we had brought before the council back in February was the mobile food vendors. We did continue that discussion a little bit this evening. One of the things that we're trying to focus on is making it possible for people who want food vendors in the downtown district to be able to put them back behind the businesses in the alley. We did ask the staff how long that they felt it would take in order to get a report back to the Public Safety Committee. And they informed us that it would take approximately 30 to 45 days and they should have some report. So in the meantime, that item will remain tabled as far as the prohibition of mobile food vendors in downtown. And hopefully we'll get back some fruitful information and be able to make a recommendation to the council at our next meeting or 30 to 45 days in the future. So and that ends my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. I don't think any other committees met. Any comments from the floor? Any council comments? Just a couple of things from the last couple of weeks. It's just mainly just been the same things with COVID. We continue to have the daily briefings, the multi-jurisdictional meeting, and again, a reminder for council, but more for public education. We get some really good cooperation going. We have the mayor, police chief, fire chief, city administrator from all 5 cities in Sarpy County plus Plattsmouth. We have the Sarpy County Emergency Management Director, the Sarpy Cass Health Director, County Prosecutor, County Sheriff, County Administrator, Chair of the County Commissioners in Sarpy County. We have added 2 judges, Judge Cox District and Judge Freeman for County are on the daily call. We have Colonel Dayton, who is the commander of the 55th Mission Support Group at Offutt on the call. And we also have Mr. Dreiling, who is Congressman Bacon's Chief of Staff in Washington, D.C. And so that group meets every morning at 9:30. We get a direct update from the health department on what's gone on the last 24 hours. And then it's kind of a round robin of any one of those organizations, city, county, federal, military, bring up an issue for discussion. The main benefit of it, besides just staying updated and having the comfort of what everybody else is thinking, is that if one jurisdiction is dealing with an issue, we can bring it up there and get the feedback from all the others. And the main thing is we want to avoid confusion in the public. The idea if Papillion takes an approach one way and La Vista takes an approach another, it's just going to create a lot of confusion in the community. And if there's confusion, there's probably going to be some distrust. So we thought the more we can learn from each other, get expert opinions, and have some commonality, it's only good as we navigate a crisis. And so that's been an excellent meeting. And so that goes on every day. And then weekly, the governor has a weekly call. He is on it every other week. And then the alternate week, it is the League of Nebraska Municipalities. So that is the mayors across the state. And if it is the week where the governor's on, there is a direct Q&A with the governor so we can get clarifications there. And then once a week, the White House COVID team has a briefing that's open to mayors around the nation that we participate in. So whether it's local, county, federal, or state, we're getting weekly updates, and that's been really good. I think the current tone is the directive health measures, which are basically the orders that we're all under. Most of the governors will expire May 31st. He has already publicly said that he will issue new ones in June. Some of those are already starting to trickle out as far as certain types of businesses being able to open in some limited ways. Baseball and softball can start in June with some real limitations. And so we probably between now and the end of the month, we'll get a lot more clarifications on more directive health measures. The governor has been pretty clear that probably expect restrictions in place through the summer at some level. So maybe not limiting social gatherings of 10, but then maybe it'll go to 25, 50, or 100, somewhere in there. So there'll be a gradual unloosening of the directive health measures of the governor. In his press conference today, he did extend virtual meetings that were in the official meetings of the government bodies through June. And he did share, at least his thought processes right now is not to do that into July. So we'll probably have 2 more of these virtual meetings, and then we'll be back physically unless the governor changes something there. I think that's most of the updates from last couple of weeks and things that are COVID related. Any other council comments? We have a motion to adjourn.
Councilman Gaines, motion.
Motion by Glover, second by Gaines. Please vote.
Sunday,
Aye.
Mumgarde,
Yes.
Gaines,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Klug,
Yes.
Stube,
Yes.
Engberg, Engberg. 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. We are adjourned.